It's Rent, and joining me is the star of the show, Merle Dandridge. Now, you've been in the show only 2 weeks, and it's an amazing performance. How much does he actually take out of you?
Well, it's so much fun, so it's invigorating. I actually long to be there, so it's fun.
Now, you were in one of my favourite musicals, Aida, which was written by Elton John and people like that. An amazing musical and rather a challenge. But I thought, listening to this musical, that the score was more challenging. But you were saying earlier that, in fact, Aida's more of a challenge.
Yeah, I found Aida a bit more challenging. I think the music from both shows are incredible, and the message from both shows are truly inspiring, which is really why I'm so excited to do both of these shows. But performing a role like Aida, where you sing 11 songs a show, and they're so gut-wrenching, and I found that extraordinarily challenging, because I had to really work my entire life around going to the show and actually being able to perform that show. And this show, the magnitude of my part, I don't have to carry the entire show with a complete ensemble of people who are just so much fun to work with. It's a little bit easier for me, so I can just go out there, wail and have fun, and tell a really beautiful story. So.
Mel, this story is about rent, literally. It's about paying the rent and the struggle that people go through. But it's much more than that. There's the AIDS stuff of the 90s and the late 80s. And there's a lot of passion and emotion in this show, which is quite rare, isn't it, these days, to actually get so involved. I was noticing the audience, there were people crying and all sorts. It's a real passionate piece. Yeah,
people come up to me crying a lot. And the message of love, the message of... well, especially the drama with the HIV and AIDS virus. So many people have been through that, the struggle of seeing somebody deteriorate or having an experience that makes you truly understand what your life really centers around. It's the moment to moment. It's the people in your life. It's the actual. The song in the show says, "Measure your life in love, live with love, give love," and I think that's a beautiful message. And I think it reaches people when they're in a tough place, or if they feel like they can't make it, or whatever. It really speaks directly to their hearts, and it releases something in them, and a lot of times it brings tears.
Now, the interesting thing about this musical, it's toured the UK and it's been on in London quite a long time, but seeing it here in New York seems to be very special because it's set here in New York, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. It's funny because it seems like, because I first heard the story and the music when I was in Chicago, and it just seems like everybody's trying to get to New York or likes New York but anywhere you are, there's that kind of environment in your culture. So.
Let's talk about you now, because you're here on Broadway. You're a big star. You've been in many musicals and done all sorts of things. Were you, as a child, always dreaming of coming to Broadway here to New York? Because this must be the place for show business, really, isn't it? This is where it's all happening. This is the place that everybody talks about when they talk about musical theatre.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, I was an athlete growing up, and it didn't really occur to me because in Nebraska, there really wasn't much of that kind of thing going on. And my family, they're not performers at all, so it just happened that I took drama in high school because my friend told me it was an easy credit, and it turned into going to the International Thespian Festival, and I happened to get a full ride out of it. So it was just kind of fell on me. And when I got to college, whatever comes my way, I'm going to work hard at. I wasn't a truly extraordinary performer. I was probably at the bottom of the rung when I got there, but I worked really hard, and eventually, when I got out of college, had something to give to it. But now I just can't live without it.
Were you born a good singer? Because I can't believe someone with your style of voice and such a distinctive, powerful voice could be trained for that. There must be an element of just God-given talent.
Well, I guess I didn't really sing a lot. I guess we sang in church growing up. We sang like a cappella hymns, but I was never like a featured singer or anything like that. So I never had an opportunity. But I was in the high school choir, and so when I got to college, I kind of had I guess maybe I had a little bit of natural talent, but it wasn't really developed. It wasn't anything. So I started taking voice lessons and studied with a number of teachers. And after a few years, it developed, and now it's really strong. It's something that I feel like I can really speak to people with.
I've asked all the stars I've spoken to who are performing here on Broadway on a nightly basis how they felt the first time they went out on stage. How nervous were you on a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh, well, I think we've all had those experiences where you just freeze up. Yeah, I'm in a place now where I can go out there and just have fun, and whatever comes, comes. I was understudying Mary Magdalene in Jesus Christ Superstar, which was my Broadway debut. And the first time I stepped out on that stage and saw, thousands of people standing out there just waiting for me to open my mouth and saying, I didn't know what I was going to do. I just did. Oh my God, that's a funny question. But there have been times where I've just completely froze up and didn't know what to do. But after a while, you just learn to embrace the magic of that moment. It's really fantastic when you just live it. Whenever my friends who are not performers get around my friends who are performers, I think they get a little scared because performers are just alive in every second. Every emotion, every feeling is just so tangible. They can be very loud, but they're expressive, and I've had the privilege of working with really great artists like Simone, who's playing Aida on Broadway now. She's an amazing R&B vocalist, and she does stuff on Sundays, which is the last show usually of the Broadway week, which they call Gospel Sunday, and she just blows the roof off the place, and she just lets it free and lets it go. And like Adam Pascal, and another amazing unique voice, unique talent, and amazing person. And the roles have been done so many different ways, but every person has something new to bring to it. They have a new spirit, a new voice, or a new vocal lick, or whatever, and they bring their own life force and their own spirit into the role, which is really exciting. That's why it makes this live theater exciting.
This show's got a lot of talk over the town at the moment because there's an artist in it called Joey, who's from a band called NSYNC. Apparently this band that are going, this international starry band, it's brought a kind of a new flavour into the theatre, really, hasn't it?
Right. Well, it's really fun because it's a rock musical, so when you have... the show has a following to begin with, but then when you get all of the NSYNCers in there, I mean... those fans are so fanatical, and Joey's so much fun to work with. He's a really good guy and down to earth. And then I see him in front of all of those screaming girls, and I'm like, oh my goodness, how does he do that? It's a completely different animal, and it's really it's really actually very fun. And I don't know if you see, sometimes he'll do a little NSYNCography and sneak it in there once in a while, and the kids will just scream and they just love it, and it's so much fun.
I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. When I knew he was going to be in this musical, I'm not a fan of NSYNC. Obviously, it doesn't do anything for me. I hadn't even heard of him really by name. I knew of the band, obviously, but I was really impressed by his singing, because normally when you get these stars brought into musicals, they're there to be a name. This guy can really sing. I was very impressed, I got to admit it.
Well, when I heard that he was doing the show and I was coming in, I didn't know what to expect, because when somebody is that famous, they can usually skate on being famous, but he really comes in and he works hard and he does his work and he's present. And when I first started the show, it's difficult to just step in after just a couple of rehearsals and just go out in front of thousands of people, but he was so supportive and so right there for me, and he really had my back. And I thought, that really says something about his work ethic. When you're talented and you work hard, it just, and he just carries that through, and it's really fun to work with him.
I have to ask you, do you fancy him? Are you a typical lady?
Oh my gosh.
Don't answer that question. It doesn't matter. It was terribly rude of me. You've only been very fun. You've been in the show now 2 weeks, and you've already got it off to a T. How long were you in rehearsals for this show?
Well, I actually came here because I was in Los Angeles, and I came here 2 weeks before I started the show. So I tried to watch the show every night, but I had probably about 3, maybe 4 rehearsals. So, but that's fun, you just do it and you learn it and you go.
You must live on fear, because to actually think about that, to do a full show where there really isn't any room to mess up. It's a professional show, you're on Broadway. If you mess up the first time, people are going to say bad things. You must live off fear.
Well, it's truly exciting. I mean, you're on the edge of your seat at all times, and there's a couple of numbers like We're Okay, where it's just me and lots of words, and I still have to be like off stage concentrating, like what are the words? What are because if I mess one up, it's just me. What am I gonna do? So it's fun. It's fun to be on the edge and not know what was gonna happen.
It's been a real pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for talking to us today.
Thank you so much.
You're a real talent, and I look forward to seeing you in something next. What would you like to to do next? Do you have a dream role?
I'm looking at TV and film, and also, I don't know, I'd like to originate a role on Broadway, and there's a lot of things I'd like to do, but we'll leave it up to whatever God has planned for me.
Absolutely. It's been a thrill talking to you today. Thank you very much to Merle Dandridge. We're here today at the Nederlander. Is that right? Nederlander. Okay, I must get it right. Rent is the big musical, and one of the big songs. Every musical seems to have one big song that makes it huge, and Seasons of Love is the song in the UK that really made it big from this musical, and it opens the second act, and it really brings a tear to most people's eye because it's just done so beautifully with everybody stood at the front of the stage with all the harmonies. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's truly a beautiful song, and it means a lot to me because it's just, as I said before, it just speaks to a very clear message about how beautiful human interaction can be when you really get to the heart of it, which is loving each other.
Merle Dandridge, thank you very much for talking to us today on the magic of the musicals on Broadway. We're live today talking to the star of Rent, and this is Seasons of Love. Thank you.